Back on Economic Buzz, this program can also be seen through StarHub Asia Channel 121 Singapore. With me, Erwin Suryabrata, and we have Mr. Vicky Amarnani, market strategist from Monex Investindo Futures. We are talking about be a smart trader in gold with Monex. Well, Pak Vicky, we are not going to talk very deep about the gold productivity globally, but I would like to ask you, maybe you can give us a figure as the view. How do you see the current balance between the supply and the demand of the gold?
Yeah, I mean, if you see the supply and demand, if over the last 4 years, gold supply has been increasing by 15%. But I mean, the magnificent thing is that the demand has been multiplying because of investments. Actually, from the 100% demand for gold, this is interesting. In year 2000, from the 100% demand of gold, only 10% was investment, 80% of it was jewelry, and 10% was industry. But now, after 2008, it's changed. From the 100% demand for gold, about 50% is jewelry still, but investment has multiplied by 4 times, from 10% to 40%, and industry is about 10%. So the investment section has increased dramatically over the last decade. And who are buying gold? Basically, it's central bank, institutions, hedge funds, retail investors like us. Everyone is buying gold because everybody's losing their faith in currencies, especially with the QE3. More money supply expected, more printing expected, and inflation expected. So with the oil prices above $90 and the Iran tensions that are going on, oil is expected to be elevated above the $90 mark. With all these concerns, gold has a very positive future to be increasing in the next 3 years to even about $3,500.
Yeah, speaking about the inflation, currency shocks, let's say, you remind me, it leads me to another question. How stable actually and lucrative gold is as an investment, during these tough economy times?
Yep. I mean, there is no asset that goes up in a straight line, whether it's properties, equities, gold, everything has a correction. I mean, first of all, when you buy, people take profit, so then they sell, and that causes a correction. All the news that's going up in Europe, US, China, the 3 biggest economies, that creates an effect in the market as well. So if we talk about gold, we can see pretty big volatility in gold as well. I mean, gold has rallied up to 1,900 and had a big correction down to even 1,530, which is over 20%. So what leads to that is how strong the rally is. So it is important to always pay attention how strong the rally is. When gold has a very strong rally, even a bigger correction is also expected.
Can we say that gold sometimes could be very or super sensitive toward, the correction thing?
Yes, I mean, because the volume has been increasing, more investors are trading gold, and when there's panic, people buy gold, or when people take profits on gold, yes, the impact is big. That's why the volatility is also big, and you have to have a trading plan before you enter a position.
Trading plan, what strategies are you suggesting to our Indonesian market when we are talking about gold as the investment?
Okay, well, I mean, the thing is, there is no one specific trading strategy for everybody. Everybody's character, style of trading is different. Everybody has different capital, different amounts of time, different amounts of experience, different amounts of comfort. I might be comfortable looking for small profits just to pay my electricity bill, my phone bill. That's what a lot of people do in the US. Some people are swing traders and don't have time for everyday monitoring. So when there's a big correction, they just buy with big pockets, basically, with big capital to hold the volatility. Some people trade for a couple of days holding their positions. And I mean, a couple of strategies which I trade basically is on breakouts. I love breakouts. I mean, it's an example. This is interesting. It's an example of a ball. If I throw a ball on top and it hits the ceiling, what happens to the ball? Comes back down, hits the floor. But if it keeps hitting the ceiling, what eventually happens to the ceiling?
Just stucking there.
No, it actually breaks out and the price goes higher.
Bouncing more.
Yeah, so when it's bouncing, you can play the range, but when it actually has a breakout, a lot of people look to sell because they think gold price is high, but that's the time to actually buy the gold because there's a strong momentum. So, sometimes investors get puzzled by thinking that I should buy gold cheap and I should sell gold when it's high up. Not necessarily. The main thing is you find the right momentum to trade the gold and go along with the trend. I mean, the trend is your friend, right? Follow the trend. So
it won't be easy sometimes when we are talking about how measurable actually when we are talking about the best timing in selling the gold or taking a profit of our gold as an investment.
It is very essential to use technical analysis. Through technical analysis, you can see the support resistance. You see what important news out there. I mean, basically, I have 4 critical factors for success. One is fundamental analysis. You need to understand what's happening in the market. The biggest factor now is that interest rates are at ultra low levels. US interest rate now is only 0.25%. Therefore, nobody's interested to put their money in deposits and get such a small return. That's why all the money is going to blue chip stocks with high dividends, commodities such as gold and oil, and that's very supportive for the product. And because of that, I see gold to continuously rise, but 4 factors for success, basically. Fundamental, technical, psychology. We humans tend to get emotional and take wrong action, so we need to control our emotions, and risk management. You make sure you trade consistently. When you're making profits, don't suddenly enter a bigger trade. If that trade is a loss, it could take up a bigger of a profit. So you have to trade consistently. And when your equity, let's say you start up with a 10,000 capital and you trade 1 lot. Eventually, if your capital goes up to 20,000, you can start trading 2 lots. I mean, there's a proper risk management and a proper discipline that you have to maintain, because trading is a business, yeah.
Right, trading is a business. Yeah. Very interesting when you mentioned about psychological factor. Most of the times, we skip this subject of discussions. How emotional, actually, our market could be when it related to the gold investment.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing.
You said panic buying all the time. Sometimes it keeps happening and occurring here.
Of course, of course. I mean, that's why if we don't analyze the market and we enter a position, it can be very risky, because when there's big volatility and we have not analyzed the market, we get worried and we don't know what to do. And there are 2 things which investors get confused about: fear and greed. That's one thing. They don't know whether they're being greedy or they're having fear from the market. Sometimes they enter a position, they have a target, that target is met, but they do not take profits because they feel, oh, maybe I can get some more. That's when they get greedy. And then when markets turn around, they cannot accept their loss. That's always one factor as well. And another thing is, sometimes you enter a position, the market's barely moved, but you're so concerned, you're just watching the markets 24 hours, I mean, minute by minute, and you think that, oh, my position's not going right, but you're being too scared from the market. You have to let loose, have your strategy in place and watch the markets, basically. So you can't be greedy. You shouldn't have fear as well. There's a certain personality you need to be a trader. I mean,
somehow it's becoming like 2 faces of a coin between fear or greed. We're going to call you after this one.
Thank you.
Make sure you are still with us on Economic Buzz. We are going to talk more about be a smart trader in gold with Monex. Stay tuned.